can get you really nice, really thin, right? And so let's see if you can get it from the side too. See, and then you can get it from the side as well. So you can get some nice thin to thick lines with these. You know what? Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, where I go around the world and the internet looking for art supplies to make your life just a little bit easier, or for you to enjoy the craft just this much more. Now today we are not going to an actual art store to get our supplies. No, today we are going to Ross. And for those of you who have not been to my channel, you wouldn't know that I try and go everywhere to find art supplies or stationery supplies or something that would be really cool for you guys to use. And Ross and Marshalls and TJ Maxx, they have some hidden gems in there, and we have found some fantastic stuff for you to find. Now, today we are going to go to the Creative Expert brush pens. I have absolutely no idea, but it was an interesting package, and so I was like, all right, let's pick these up. And for $3.99 you get 12 markers. You know what, if they are halfway decent, this is going to be a great investment. But as you know, sometimes when you go to places that have really cheap supplies, there is a reason for that. But you may surprise yourself when you go to a place like Ross or Marshalls and find something that's absolutely fantastic that you can get for the cheap. So, as you all know, there's only one way to figure out if these are actually worth it. So come on, let's go check them out. All right, so the thing with this is really cool to me. It's already in its own little pencil case, and I think that's really cool, you know? So a lot of times when you get markers or supplies, and you always gotta find a place to put them. And this one gives you a nice, interesting looking box. It's a little creative, shows the markers. It says that it's artist quality. It's always interesting when they say this, because I don't necessarily know what that means. Like, isn't any art supply artist quality? Like, so I don't know. When they say it's professional, I know where to go with that. But when it says that it's artist quality, I'm like, what's underneath artist quality? But it says they're brush markers. What's funny is it's a little off center. So I think when they actually wrapped this, it wasn't wrapped center. So this is a little bit off here. But that's neither here nor there. It says bright colors, quick drying, and fade resistance. It shows you the colors that you have. And on the back, it tells you that it's bright colors, quick drying, and fade resistant. So there's not a lot here. I don't know if these are water-based markers or if they are alcohol-based markers, but we are going to find out together. But like I said, it comes with its own case, which I think is really cool. Oh man, just at the at the look of them from the start, like, oh yeah, I know why they're $3.99, because these are really cheap plastic, right? Like, it feels really cheap. It's a slick plastic with nothing on it. It does have a little color in the back to tell you which color you're getting, right? So you can get the two different colors, something like that. So if you got two greens, but I can tell you that it feels cheap as far as the plastic goes, right? Like, there's nothing on here. It's just super slick plastic. It is sturdy though. It doesn't feel like it's very weak, so that's really good. Whoa, look at that brush though. That's a serious looking brush. So I mean, that's nice. See if it has a snap. It does have a snap. You actually got to really get to it though. Ooh, that was good. It's a nice sounding snap. So you know that is on there once it gets. So let's see if it posts. It should. Uh-oh. It's on there, but it is definitely wiggling. Nah. So it'll stay on there for a while, but for the most part, if you shake it too much, it's gonna fall off. See, you can see how long it actually stays on there. but it is very like loose. So you can put it on there and it'll stay there, but it moves. So if you're, if you have some type of sensory issue, and then sometimes it just flies right off, and that's gonna be bad for later because it flew behind all my other art supplies. So let's just go ahead and grab that because I don't want it to dry out right away. All right. Anyway, so as you saw, they'll fly out, and it's very inconsistent as far as how it stays on, but the snap is really nice. The brush is gigantic brush on there. So, but it's nice snap, just feels a little plasticky. All right, as usual, Bristol board, 300 series, Strathmore. And we are just gonna go through all of these. And the brush itself looks like it's full of ink, right? Like it looks like it's ready to go. That is not the color I thought that was. So that is, so we're gonna come over here and just kind of, I mean, it flows really nicely. Before we actually try and do any type of super test, we're just gonna kind of go through all the colors. Oh, that one dried a lot darker than anticipated, because when it came out, I was like, man, that is orange. But it did dry red, so that's good. There's our orange. So I don't think that these are water-based. Ooh, they even got a neon highlighter color in here. Nice. Well, they might be. We're gonna find out if they're water-based. But they flow. It flows so nicely. Although these light ones, I'm like, it might be water-based. Yeah, I think it is. And then we're just gonna do this last one up here. But as you can see, they the flow on these were fantastic. Like it didn't miss a beat. Like that's really nice. And I do like how the neon highlighter color actually dried, because when it went down, it was so bright. You can barely even see that. But it's there. There's a highlighter color. But let's see. Right, you can get some nice lines, some nice thin to thick lines, right? So the brush itself can get you really nice, really thin, right? And so let's see if you can get it from the side too. See, and then you can get it from the side as well. So you can get some nice thin to thick lines with these. You know what? But let's see. Okay, we're gonna. Yeah. Okay. So this is water based. You can always tell when it's water based because you can start feeling the paper pull up. But did you see how long it took for that paper to start disintegrating? That's important because we've had water-based brushes that you went over it like 2 or 3 times and then it started pulling up the paper. It took a long time for that color to actually start tearing up the paper. So, I mean, the ink flow is, you cannot argue with the ink flow of these, right? It's very nice. They can overlap. When they overlap, they change colors. That's fun. And it's mostly because it is a water-based, right? So it's a water-based marker. So we're gonna let that dry. And then we're gonna go over it with another color with this purple. And then you should be able to see just how, it can overlay and stuff like that. But the flow of these are just super nice, right? Thick to thin, thin to thick. It fills a space very nicely. So you could actually use these and not tear up your paper. You see that? That was fantastic. It did not tear up the paper. It's not, right? It's not chewing up the paper, which is nice. Then we're gonna come over here. We're gonna go back over this. All right, you can see you can actually make it blend and change colors. So that's really nice. A little add-on there. Let's see about this. Put this over here. Even the lighter colors would allow you to start changing, right, the outcome. Look at that. That's just really cool. That's really nice. You know, cannot argue with these. So we're going to try, because they're water-based, so we're just gonna try some stuff. Oh, I can't use that one. That's still under development. All right, so we're gonna have your Tombow, Stedler, and then we got a King Art. Very thin King Art. What's this one? And Faber-Castell. Soon I think next time we'll have to make sure we add editing to it. But we're gonna try this highlighter color. We're gonna see what happens with that. All right, we're just gonna pull it. Oh yeah, it doesn't like that. It just completely pulled up all the ink from every single one of them. It did not like that at all. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. It plays nicely with the markers itself, but it doesn't necessarily like pens. Yeah, it's just pulling. It's pulling the ink. Now, granted, the darker one pulled it up less. Let's try this pink. Yeah, so the lighter the color, the more it pulls up the ink. So that's definitely something you got to keep in mind. But, I mean, I have to say, though, these are very surprising water-based brush markers, because it started tearing it up here, but not even a lot, right? Like going over it, before you would feel that the paper was completely ruined. Here, I went over that a lot, and it only barely feels as though there's some paper that was kind of, some fibers that were pulled away from it. They do dry really nicely. They go over each other. So, I mean, these are some nice water-based markers. All right, so we just got done reviewing the Creative Experts brush markers. And I have to say, remember when I told you might find some hidden gems in like Ross and TJ Maxx and Marshalls and stuff like that. And I think we found one, because for a water-based brush marker, they are fantastic. The amount of water or ink that had to go on the paper before it started tearing it up was amazing. Like, it was a lot. And when I went to just cover it, like, and just fill a space from top to bottom, it was great, because it wasn't like most water-based markers, because normally you get the nice streaks, right? You're going down, you get it all streaky, and it's like, man, this doesn't really look good. But with this, it was like, as you were moving it down, it just kind of blended, and it looked really nice. So, and I am not, and if you want, you can check all of the other videos where I've done water-based markers and brush pens and stuff like that, and I am not the one. I normally do not like water-based markers, but these are really good. The flow was nice, the brush was amazing. The only thing it doesn't like is going over pen, right? Every single one of the fine liners that I used, it just pulled up the ink. Especially the lighter the brush marker was, the easier it pulled up all the ink. So that's something to keep in mind. Like, if you're doing some journaling or actually making art with it, you should probably wait until it's dry and then ink over it in the end, if you are adding ink to your product. But as far as putting ink down first and then markering over it, these are not going to make you happy, and you will be upset if you do it in that order. But besides that, these are definitely some markers you should pick up. If you find them out in the wild, I would highly recommend picking them up. They're a lot of fun. You can give them to your kids or your budding artists. and they will have some markers that will give them enough flexibility to use and make mistakes, but then also allow them to see a more professional look. These were great, and like I said, for a price of $3.99, you can't fight that. $3.99, 12 markers, absolutely 100% worth it. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Is It Worth It? I hope that the information you got here today was helpful in some way, shape, or form. If you have a product that you would like me to review, just go ahead and drop it in the comments below, and I will go ahead and add it to the list. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you get notified every single time that I drop new content. Thank you all so very much, and I will see you at the next episode.